So I definitely got my professional YouTuber on with this video, and by that I mean a decent amount of the footage you're going to see, you've already seen before, but we're going to have to work with it. We have the 11th pick, and I'm not going to lie to you, I don't think there's a perfect selection for us around that area, just because, you know, if we're looking at our positions, I think going with a point guard could be smart, just because Peyton's good, but there's definitely guys out there that can be better, and if we select one and they end up becoming better than Peyton, then it just works out and everybody's all happy. Here's the thing. I don't really know if there's a guy who's going to be better than him. There's a Trayvon Duval, who does not look like himself at all because of that hairdo that he has in the game right now, but don't worry about it. Seems like a pretty talented point guard, extremely athletic, and a guy who can be an isolation player as well as someone in pick and rolls. But he's very similar to Elfrid Payton. Well, not completely similar. He is more athletic than Payton, so he's got that going for him. But he's got to work on his jump shot, which is the same thing that Payton needs to work on. Would we still select him knowing that we got to work with him and he's pretty much the same thing as Payton is, besides a little more athletic? I mean, we could still go with him. There is Jalen Hands, that's a fantastic name, by the way. I got to give him credit for that one. But he's also like Elfrid Payton. He's more of a scorer, though. He doesn't move the ball around as much as Duval might. And his mid-range is supposed to be okay. And he seems like he can be like a real scorer and also very athletic. But his three-pointer is not that good right now. And that's kind of the story of this draft. It's a whole lot of guys who are going to have to work on their jumpers, which is not ideal, of course. I mean, are we willing to just take on a point guard who we're really going to have to work with and might be better than Payton down the road? I don't know. There's also Colin Sexton, who is probably the best point guard coming out. The chances of him being available at number 11 for us are very slim. He seems to be the best all-around point guard, and he seems like probably the best shooter among the top guys. Still would have to be a guy you have to work with, but compared to the other two, he's farther along. And I would love to get him, but there just doesn't seem to be a way that he's still going to be available at number 11, you know? I'm assuming there are quite a few teams that are going to need some point guards there. He would be great, but now if we wanted to get a little crazy, we could go with Hamidou Diallo, who is a super athlete at the shooting guard position and seems like he can be an awesome defensive player. But still, I like guys who can shoot, and if I have to work with you for like 3 years to learn how to shoot, I mean, I'm willing to do that, but it's also like, if there's a better option out there, then, you know. It's nice to be able to shoot is what I'm getting at. Plus, with all the other wings we have with Josh Richardson, Fournier, Hazonia, it could be tough for him to really get minutes. So there just doesn't seem to be a perfect selection here. I mean, in a perfect world, we could select some guy who can back up for Elfrid Payton immediately, and I can feel good about him, and then maybe that guy can surpass Payton, or Payton can just get better, and then we have a really good point guard rotation going on. Again, we could draft one of those guys, it's just we're going to have some work cut out for us if we do. But then again, we have the 11th pick, so that's kind of what's supposed to happen anyway, so there's that. We should know that Marquise Bolden is going to be playing next season at the center position, and there really isn't a center that's going to be available for us. I mean, to the top of the draft, there's like 2 big-time centers, but of course, they're not going to slip down to us, so there really just doesn't seem to be a guy that you could say, well, maybe he could end up being better than Biyombo or whatever. Now, the conversation could be had, what about trading the pick? I mean, the only trade asset we really have is Terrence Ross, and like, I would love to just screw over 2K and get like the 5th pick by trading him, but I'm not going to do that, okay? I don't do my series like that. No one in their right mind is going to move down in the draft for Terrence freaking Ross. So here's what I was thinking. We could still go with a point guard, knowing that we have our work cut out for us, or we could just simply go with the best player available. Now, the complication with this is they could end up being a small forward or a power forward, and they would be playing behind Aaron Gordon or Jason Tatum. But here's the thing. We won 37 games. We have the 11th pick for a reason. We're not very good, and we're going to be building this thing up for a while. Even if we manage to like make the 8th seed next season or whatever, that doesn't mean that we've really accomplished anything. I mean, there's a difference between barely getting into the playoffs and having a team that can really win something down the road. So, I mean, the game thinks we're going to select Miles Bridges with the 11th pick. Maybe that would make sense. Maybe you get a guy who plays behind Jason Tatum initially, but you fast forward a couple of seasons and he can be converted into like a shooting guard or a power forward, or hell, you could find ways of playing him and Tatum together. Like, just because two guys play the same position doesn't mean it's like, oh, screw it, they can never play together. Now, I should also say, if we are going to draft a wing, I'm perfectly fine with like moving Fournier's position to the point guard off the bench, because I think he can be successful there. He already got like 4 assists last year for us, and it could free up a wing spot. Maybe that's the route we should go. Go for the best player and just realize like we're not in the best situation right now in terms of winning. I don't know, man. There's no perfect pick. Because my fear with drafting a point guard who can't shoot behind Peyton is that we're just basically the same team even if he is a little better than Peyton. Maybe just going with the best player overall is the right choice, and if that's the case, who the hell knows who we're going to be picking at number 11. Now, could we trade the pick for a player that's already in the NBA? Potentially. It would have to be like the perfect fit, because we don't want them to be too old by the time we're really trying to win. But they also have to be good enough of a young player to where we'd actually want them, but they can't be too good to where trading them for the 11th pick wouldn't make sense for the team they're already on. It would have to be like a very precise type of player and situation that, I mean, I'll take a look around the league, but I don't know if it's going to be there.